Welcome back. Welcome home. It's the You Are Here podcast. Thank you for riding with us. It's with us. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We got some reads we got to hit.
O'Hagan, career coaching. Guys, you're trying to find a job. If you're out of college, you don't know what you're doing. If you lost your job and now you got to do it all over again and you're confused and you're scared and you don't know how to get back in there, go to O'HaganCareerCoaching.com. We're going to hit you up with Coach O. He's been like 40 years in the business.
He's the GOAT.
Sales, killing it.
He's the GOAT.
He's got a huge network that you can have access to with one of his plans, a networking package. But he's also just going to be, teaching you how to get back into the game of interviewing. It's a two-way street. You got to separate yourself. That's how it is, man. You got how many more people trying to get the same job as you?
There's a lot of people out there.
How many people are answering the questions the same way?
You got to separate yourself from the pack, dude.
Yeah, man.
Separate yourself from the pack.
We're going to send you to the guy that does it the best, Coach O. He's been doing it. And, he's going to do like mock interviews with you. He's going to tell you how to answer things in the right way. Tell your story. Because everyone's got a story. That's what he says. And I love that.
And he's going to open up his network to you.
And I said that already. All right?
Sorry.
O'HaganCareerCoaching.com.
Hey, AnytimeActorsLab.com, guys. If you're listening, we got the guy on the pod today, but I'm gonna do the read for him. So don't talk. AnytimeActorsLab.com. If you have any questions about acting, if you have an interest in acting, let's say you're coming out of college and you were like, oh man, I really want to be an actor. You don't have tools, right?
Here, let me try. Ready? It's not your fault.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
No?
We need to get people to believe you, man. It's living truthfully under imaginary circumstances, dude. That's what your favorite actors are doing.
You're right.
They're impulsive. They're living. It's real. It feels real.
It does feel
How do you
real.
do it, Mike? You don't know.
I have no clue. Look at me.
Go to AnytimeActorsLab.com, man. That's how you're going to learn. Adam Lowder will be taking one-on-ones for free with the consultations in the beginning. You get to know him. Check out his videos on TikTok, YouTube, and Rumble. Just kidding. He's not on Rumble. But the other two he is. AnytimeActorsLab.com. Go check it out.
Shout out. Patrons. Patreon.com/YouAreHerePod.
Boom.
It's the best way to support us. Throw us a bone. Thank you so much.
Hold on. Thank you.
There we go. And I like that, man. Good job. We're going to keep it short and sweet like that. Welcome back. Welcome home. I wanted to finish that as quickly as possible.
I liked it. Thank you.
Do you want to start off with, or do you want this to go a certain way? Because I want to ask Adam if he could be our HR.
Get right into it.
Is that cool?
Get right into it.
Can you look it up on your phone? Because my phone is being used right now. Can you read the text you sent me today before?
Which text are you referring to, though? Because I
just
texted you
the last text, or just the
the last text I sent you.
Hey, you know what text?
Because I said yo. Right?
Yo.
I said that today to him. I said, yo. And I said, we got Coach Show at 4 and then Adam on Zoom at 5:30, brother. And you said, word up, dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Casual.
We were chilling.
Sick.
That was at 11:16 a.m.
Yep.
Is that...
Now, what do you do next?
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
It was 1:39 p.m. I said, make sure your cheeks are tight. And then all I said, make sure the set is right because I accidentally slipped texting you and it auto-corrected and to make sure your cheeks are tight. But I was trying to say make sure the set is right.
Oh.
And then you said I'm going to ask Adam about this. He's HR.
I'm glad you guys were able to clear that up.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
And it was an honest mistake.
Now, can we put it on the record that Dave
Careful though.
Instigates it all?
I slipped on the autocorrect. It changed it.
I don't believe that.
That's what happened.
I have seen, outside of the one moment that is infamous, I've only seen that one moment from Mikey. The rest, it's all instigated from Dave.
What is it?
And I like to have it just on the record.
Well, Mikey's not a single man, and you are encroaching on his relationship.
Yeah,
You're hitting on him.
No, dude, I would never do that.
Yeah, dude.
I love that you and Margot are. I recognize.
Now, don't say her name now.
Sorry, I recognize that you and your partner are in a very good thing, and I would never encroach on that. Let me say that on the record.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's strictly friends here.
Okay.
We're brothers,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Thank you, Adam.
Fine. That's
Thank you for
welcome, Adam. Thank you for joining us again. The heart and soul of Anytown Actors Lab, Anytown Pictures. Dude, I'm so excited to see the movie.
Yeah.
I'm getting more excited just because, like, when you showed me the trailer and when the trailer came out, play the trailer.
Mom's supposed to pick me up.
Yeah, I know.
Does Mom know?
I just want to let you know Lily was just in my office and I think she's planning on suing you for custody.
I'm sorry to say this, but if your dad wanted to see you, he'd be seeing you.
He couldn't just leave jail.
He should have thought about that before he drove around drunk.
What we have to do is to determine whether or not he's unfit.
She needs a brother!
Yeah, what am I then?
Get your hands off the window,
Please get your hands off the window. It's okay.
And we're back. We've been doing that lately.
Yeah, we've been hitting basically every episode.
It's been cool.
Has a teaser.
It's been cool. But dude, the trailer gets me
with a link to tickets. So if you want to go see it, we have a few screenings one in Dallas, 2 in Archer City where they filmed.
Yep.
The Last Picture Show where we filmed our film, Peter Bogdanovich's film. So check it out. If you want tickets right now, that's the only place you can watch them if you're in Texas, or if you are going to be in Texas, it's April 25th, 26th, and 28th are the screenings. So go get your tickets. Sorry to cut you off.
Of course, man.
Got to plug it.
No, I'm just so excited, dude, to see the movie. Yeah. Because like seeing it like all come together now, I'm like, man, it's just, I'm excited.
And it's going to be events. They're not just like screenings. It's there's going to be us there, but also like food's going to be there. It's going to be like a party, like a little festival for all these screenings. So it's going to be a ball, dude. Adam, how you feeling, bro, on the eve of this, man? I know you probably answered this a bunch, but we're putting out a lot of stuff about it. Like, where's your head at? What are you feeling?
Just excited and grateful. Obviously, 4.5 years it's been that since day one of writing the script together. So now that it's finally here, we can share it with these audiences. I'm just so excited. I mean, I think there's usually there's like a lot of nervousness. I definitely have that, but it's so outweighed by the excitement. Just even if it's just like inevitably people, gravitate towards certain movies or they don't for whatever reason. I don't mind. I don't mind, honestly, any of that. I just really want the people that come to get something out of it, and that it's really worth their time and their money, and that they walk away with like, man, I'm really glad I saw that movie, and I hopefully walk away more inspired, just about life, but also about if you are someone who's creatively inclined, that you can definitely do it. You can make a movie, or you can paint a picture, you can write a book, or that you feel like, man, I'm invigorated. I want to go do something. So I'm excited for all of those connections to get even more, not only for them to happen, but for them to be fostered in a deeper way.
Same, bro. Same, man. Anytown Pictures, dude. What are we about?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not just Wayward Kin. Like, Wayward Kin is our flagship film for sure, but there's a mission here, man. And I think you're hitting on it. It's like, everyone's got a story in any town. Like there's always a story, even in the smallest of places. Like a story will exist, dude. And that's why I'm really excited for you to see Archer. Like I think you said you can make that screening.
Yeah.
One of those screenings, dude. Even the stories in a town like that where you wouldn't even drive through. Like you would just avoid entirely, or you would drive through. It has one stoplight and the thing's blinking. You don't even have to stop. So like a place like that. How much story have we found in a place like, you know what I mean? Like, can you go into the story of the Last Picture Show for people who may not know?
You gotta see that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Larry McMurtry is a impactful author of many, many books. He passed away a few years ago now, unfortunately, but he left behind an amazing legacy of prolific narrative work. He also was an Academy Award winner for Brokeback Mountain, and a lot of his films were adapted into, his books were adapted into films. And one of those early on was The Last Picture Show, which famously or infamously is an autobiographical kind of coming of age story that takes place in a tiny town, Anarene, Texas, but it's really Archer City, you know, and he's kind of said, this is what I wrote it about. And so a lot of famously people who grew up there were a little bit, some of them rubbed the wrong way because they're like, this is my life, and you definitely put it in a book, and this is messed up. And some people were excited about it. And when BBS, that's a film company that was starting to gain a lot of traction in the late 60s, early 70s. So BBS stands for Bob Burton, Bob Rafelson, Bert Schneider, and Steve Blauner. They started a company, and their first film they released was Easy Rider, 1969. And Easy Rider was a very countercultural film. Is my connection weird?
No, you're.
I don't know what you said. What'd you say?
You said I couldn't hold it in because I had an impulse. You were talking about BBS, and I had an impulse. I said big booty, and then that was it. But but you kept talking.
Adam.
I think the time is up.
Adam.
No. I'm sorry.
Please?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You have it going. You have it going.
Adam, please.
It's a conversation, right? So
excuse my partner here.
I got to trust my impulses.
Please go on.
I was trained to trust my impulses, Adam.
On.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, do that under imaginary.
Yeah, acting, dude. You know what? Acting. You're acting like a fool.
No. You're good. No, but yeah. So they released.
You like that?
They released.
That's good.
Easy Rider, and so that film was a very countercultural film. The studio system wouldn't be making a film like that one. It was, drug, sex, rock and roll, really like guys on motorcycles just driving across the country and really expressing things that I think the culture was feeling, but that Hollywood wasn't expressing through their art. And people kind of flooded to the theaters, and it was this $360,000 budget at the time. Of course, it's a very low budget film. That's still low budget, very low budget now. And BBS became one of the leading new studios in what was dubbed the new Hollywood era, influenced a lot by the French New Wave with Truffaut and Godard, and what they were doing with the camera was very experimental. And I think in the 60s, right, like post-Vietnam, we've got Woodstock and music and all these things. It's just this boom of free expression, and Hollywood hadn't reflected that, but Easy Rider kind of kicked the door down. And the next film they made was The Last Picture Show, which is, again, this adaptation from the novel written by Larry McMurtry, and they had hired Peter Bogdanovich to direct the film. And so he was in charge of obviously casting, location scouting, and he landed in Texas, and they went to so many different Texas towns, him and Larry. And it just wasn't quite right. This story takes place in like Dave was saying, like a one-horse town, one stoplight town. There's gossip and there's stuff like that. There's horses and ranches and not much else. There's kids growing up, kids going to war. Takes place not in the 70s, so it's a couple decades prior to that. And this picture house, this picture shows, is closing down, and that's kind of marking the end of an era. And this irony is that it was beginning a new era in film history, while this cultural era was dying down in McMurtry's story. And again, in keeping with kind of irony and things, it was also this unexpected hit and got like 8 Academy Award nominations. It introduced the world to Jeff Bridges and Timothy Bottoms and Sybil Shepherd and Cloris Leachman ended up getting an Oscar. Ben Johnson got an Oscar, and Bogdanovich obviously was nominated for adaptation with McMurtry in the script, and then directing, and then Best Picture. So it was just like this crazy hit out there in this small town. Ben Johnson was so good, I gotta say, in that one scene. Yeah. Do you know the story? Do you remember that story? How? Tell it. So there's this, he kind of plays this older, kind of wise figure, but definitely is rough around the edges. And the two main younger guys are out there on the pond with him, and they're kind of listening to the old man tell stories. And when they were shooting it, there was this design that Bogdanovich had where he's like, okay, I want to put the camera on a dolly, and I just want to push in and kind of just not cut. I just want to do one take. And one of the takes that they did, there was like this great cloud cover, which was pretty good. But then as they're pushing in, and he's delivering this speech, and it's great, the sun comes out from behind the cloud at the like perfect time. And it's 2 minutes into the scene and they're going to shoot for like 5 minutes straight or whatever it is. And then Timothy Bottoms has a line he's supposed to say, and then Ben Johnson kind of finishes his speech. But as they're getting this perfect shot, this perfect moment, Timothy Bottoms just sits there. And Bogdanovich knows, like, we can't cut. I'm not cutting. And he's like, does he know the line? So he's trying to prompt him to say it. He doesn't say it. It's a kind of a mess. And they say cut. And he's like, what was that? It was perfect. And he's like, I didn't forget my line. And he's like, well, then what were you doing? And he was like, I was just taking it in, I was. And he said, I could have killed him. But he said he ended up having to cut to one of the landscape shots, like a wide, and then he cut back to Ben. It all worked out. But he's great in the movie. There's a lot of really cool stories around the film itself. But overall, that was 54 years ago. And so when I was, location scouting myself in a similar boat to these guys back in 1969, 1970, whatever, we're kind of doing the same thing. We need a courthouse. We got to know, a lot of the movie takes place in the courthouse. So we really need one that we can shoot in, and we don't have the money to build a set or build a courthouse or a courtroom. And so this was not too long after COVID. So I had called every single courthouse within a 200-mile radius. And like on some of them, I got kind of close to maybe talking to some people that would make it happen, but they just all were kind of either backed up or not interested. And then my mom was a court reporter. She worked in Grayson County, so I kind of thought I had a connection there. Then we had Trevor Beatty, who was our legal advisor on the film, and then he had a connection to Grayson County. The film takes place in Grayson County. I was like, let's just do a Grayson County courthouse. But the new judge who was just elected, literally like one of those weeks, just wouldn't return my call. I know I was calling the secretary. I was emailing every day. I was really annoying, but they just wouldn't answer me. So then one day I was teaching, and then I got a voicemail, and it was Richard Shelley. Adam, I kind of thought, I heard you was making a movie, man. What are you doing? And I was like, who's this guy? And I called him, and he said that he used to be on the commissioner's court in Archer County. I said, Archer County? Oh yeah. I think I talked to a clerk there or something. And he was like, tell me about your movie. So I did. And he said, well, send me the script. And I did. And then like the next day he had read it and called me back, which really surprised me because usually it takes forever for people to read scripts. And he was like, I really loved the story, and I would love, are you willing to come over here and meet the judge and everything? And so I did. And that's how we ended up shooting in Archer City for 3 days. It really wasn't the design, but it just happened. And then they have that Royal Theater, which obviously is prominently featured in the Last Picture Show. And in one of the final scenes, it's shutting down. And so the woman who runs it is like in tears because it's the last time, and the era is ending. And that theater burned down, and someone in Archer City named Abby Abernathy, he ended up restoring it, rebuilding it, and they opened it back up in 2000. And the facade is a lot similar to how it was when it was really in full swing. And when I was sitting there with the judge, he was like, "Y'all have any interest in showing it at the Royal Theater?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Yes, of course. If you guys would have us, that's where we would like to premiere the film if possible." And he kind of lit up and was like, "Really? There's not that many people here, And I was like, no, that's what Anytown Pictures is all about. As Dave said, it's like the next great story, the next great film, the next great moment that we can capture on camera can come from anywhere, any town, doesn't matter. And, why not Archer City? And that's what Bogdanovich had said. He rolled through that town, and it was their last town that they visited when they were location scouting to see if they were going to shoot the Last Picture Show. Where would they shoot it? And he's like, this is a perfect town. Theaters there, the people, like it's got the stoplight. This is perfect. And Larry's like, well, it should be perfect because it's where I grew up and it's what I wrote about. So, duh. Why don't we shoot here why don't we try this in the first place? And they ended up shooting there. So it's just kind of cool that we're able to continually honor this town that's meant so much to cinema history, and it's right there in a small Texas town. And to bring it back and for us to celebrate there together, I think it's really going to be special. I think a lot of people from the town are going to come. The cast and crew mostly are all going to be there. We had the best time there. Everyone was so supportive. Everyone was so nice. And we captured some amazing footage, and the film wouldn't be what it was without us going to Archer County and shooting it there. And even Richard Shelley, I mean, there's a design principle that was really incredible about what just happened. But I think I may have told this story before. Hopefully it's not boring, but we were building the schedule draft. What are we going to shoot when? We knew we didn't have many days to shoot. And because I was looking for jail cells. It's hard to shoot in jails. It's not easy to get permission to do that.
Yeah, where do you put all the prisoners?
Yeah, exactly. Where do you cubby the prisoners while you're filming in the cells, you know? Hey guys, go stand in the corner while this film crew comes in. Don't make any noise.
And I know, like, the actor and you, Dave, would be like, no. Let me blend in.
Let him in. Yeah, can I get a week with these guys? Like, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. But we had in North Richland Hills, there was a decommissioned prison that these guys were renting out for location shoots and music videos, all types of crazy stuff. And I went over there, and North Richland Hills is near Dallas. So it's still 2.5 hours from like an Archer City type thing. We were trying to keep everything as localized as possible, even though we ended up shooting in about 9 different small towns in Texas. But yeah, I went there. It was so good. The guys were so nice. We just talked about Jesus and movies, and it was amazing. And he was like, y'all want to shoot in this jail, man? Come on, let's go.
Damn.
And I was like, great. So I felt like that was really our only lead. Yeah. And I threw it into this schedule, and the only way we could get it to work was if we shot that as the first thing. And it was going to be first or second day. I think I was able to push it to the second day with Joy. And it just like, this is a directing thing, but I was like, this can't happen.
Yeah.
We just can't shoot this here. It's the last thing that happens in the film, and it's the heart of the movie, literally. And I'm not going to give it away, obviously, but I was like, we can't have our actors do this. Like, Dave and Avery need to like build a relationship. They're just starting to do that, and we're asking them to go into the trenches on this scene. Like, it's just not fair. And I knew if I was acting, I would be like, kill me. Can we please figure something else out? And so I called Richard Shelley, who got us the courthouse and everything. And he was so cool. He's like, man, I think I can get me an electrician in there. And we got an old jail, and I bet you we could turn them lights on. You know what I mean? There's no electric in there. You can't shoot without any electric, right? And I said, no, sir, we can't. He's like, let me see what I can do, man. And in 48 hours, he was like, the jail's on. I think if we can shoot it there, it probably look good. He sent me photos. It looked amazing. And I was like, thank you so much, Richard. This is going to work out. So we were able to move that location. I called the guys. I thanked them, but we moved to the jail in Archer County. And it was one of the last things we shot, which to me, especially on such a limited film time and money and all those things being so limited, if we can at least set things up for them to be a little more fair for the actors, that would be great. And in keeping with this kind of tandem timeline between Last Picture Show and our film, the scene that takes place in the jail that we shot towards the end was definitely the most personal thing I've ever done artistically. And it was the most moving experience I've ever had making anything. Because I was really overwhelmed by what happened. And I had to like, once we shot it and I knew we got it, I just needed to like step out because I couldn't stop crying. And so I like walked around behind the jail and just like cried. And then I like came back and I was like, I'm fine. And then I was watching this Last Picture Show documentary, and I saw that he said, and towards the end, I won't give it away. I know, Mike, you haven't seen it, but towards the end, there's an emotional scene that happens. And Peter Bogdanovich told the whole crew, like, if this is like blowing up a bridge, we're about to shoot something so sensitive and so important. We're doing it once. We're not doing 2 takes. We're doing it one time. It's like we're blowing a bridge up. So we don't get to do it twice. And they did this scene, the shot, and it's so moving. It's so good. And it's the end of the film. And he said him and Timothy Bottoms walked around Archer City Square, and they didn't even say a word to each other. And they just kind of like hugged at the end, and they were both like so emotional. And he was like, and Tim was like, that was good. We did a good job. Like, everybody knew it was great. And I think we felt that way too in our movie. But it's just one of those things, like, what a special place. And so why not? Like, why not? It's right to the heart of, like we said, our kind of company mission. And so why would we not premiere it there? And it's going to be a blast. We can bring commerce to them. You know, like Dave was saying, we got a taco truck coming out there. We've got free beer. We've got, you know, people just hanging out. And we're just going to honor the town and honor the people of Archer City and thank them by doing this, not just sending a little thank you note, but like saying, come out and support this theater, come out and support these folks and watch a movie that you can't see anywhere else. And it seems like people are getting pretty excited.
It's awesome.
Dude,
So awesome.
it's so cool, bro.
I saw that local TV channel too.
Yeah, man.
Interview.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
awesome. Seeing it on the big screen, I was like, man, it looks good, dude.
Dude, you know what's cool? It keeps going back to, for me, how accommodating everyone was to us and continues to be to us. That's the part that's like freaking me out. Is like a news station is opening up their doors and saying like, let's promote this thing, man. How can we help? And like putting you out on the stage, and like we get to promote the film through this network that who would have thought? Like it's just crazy to me. And a guy like Richard Shelley, like that dude's a stud. And he didn't know us from Adam. You know, that's the pun. But like he didn't know us, dude. And he was willing to like work on our behalf to get, first of all, read the script, which nobody does. Like that's something nobody tells you. You write a script, you send it to people, nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. Richard Shelley read it in a day. And then he got back to you. And he told us like he's working on our behalf to get us in the court with the judge and like to set up the meetings. And now he's helping us with the film commission stuff. And he opened up the jail for us, got the electricians in there. He's doing it while we're not there. Yeah. Like working on our behalf. And he didn't know us off the strength of our story and what we were trying to do. We didn't even do it yet. So, and there was so many stories of people like him showing up for us. But he's like a perfect example of that. And isn't he, he's got his own land. He's like working his land. He also was a part of the Last Picture Show when he was younger. Yeah? He was involved in the film. He was telling us stories about it while they were there and how it was for him and his experience and like buddy with Jeff Bridges and stuff. And, so that to me, like always speaks volumes, bro. But also specifically the whole thing was a dream, like total dream. I don't know how we're going to do this because I feel like when we get there, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have like something's going to snap. Like emotional, like psychosis is going to take over and I'm not going to be in control of my body and just I'm going to be fluids and just moving around the town. I don't know what's going to happen, but I swear I'm like afraid of what's coming, but I'm excited. Man. But I remember specifically, dude, that moment, and now you're making me think of the Last Picture Show, and 54 years later, it was like how we were on the same corner where they shot that shot. The cell that we filmed in was like catty corner to the theater.
Oh, really?
So you walk outside, it's like 20 feet to your right. Where they shot that shot you were just telling Mike about, and we won't give it away, but it's a very emotional moment. And we just shot the heart of our film, essentially, that we built to. And we had this experience in the cell. And then, like Adam said, he left, and we walk outside, like, and there was no words. Like, it just something crazy occurred that we were working for, and it exceeded our expectations. And, dude, it was one of the craziest moments ever. But it was like the ghosts of Timothy Bottoms and... You know, and they were like right there while we were having our thing, literally on the same corner, and the theater's right there. Like it's amazing the depth of story that was told at that corner is what I'm trying to say. The meaning of like they caused a film revolution. Like they were part of that. And the story, the specific story they told that moment specifically, like it happened right there, 20 feet, like it was right there. And we're like echoing that in the same place. And it was magic. I never felt nothing like that ever telling a story in my life, dude. Never. It's really like, I don't know how to put words to it, but it felt divine. We walked to the theater. I remember we wrapped for the whole film that day. Like a shot or two later or whatever. And I just walked into the theater, dude, and just like looked up. It has no ceiling. It's ruins. Like, but they remade it. You're going to see it. Yeah. There's a stage and like they have like the original like bones of the structure and they turn it into like something you could go visit and be a part, like be in. And I just looked in the sky like, dude, God, like you did it. Like I cannot believe what just happened. There's no way I could have done this. Or he could have done, like, there's no way. It was too, it's too much. Like, it's too much.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it. You know, it's just crazy. Something moved through us and like got us to that point of telling like the deepest, most specific to who we are as individuals. The first question was, what do you want to tell a story about? I keep saying it, and it was brothers. That's all I want to tell a story about. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And you just zoom forward to that moment on that corner. I never thought we'd tell a story like that. I never thought we could even reach that. Like, I believed in us, but that exceeds what I could even contemplate, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's why I think the overarching emotion right now is excitement, because it's not just, we love these people, which we do, and we get to show them. We had this film experience, which is very familial and it's very special. Every film set is unique and different, and this one was the same way. And we can relive that in our memory and discuss it, and it'll always be special. But you don't ever get to go back to the place you shot it and then show it. That never happens. Like, it just doesn't. Even the Last Picture Show didn't premiere at the Royal Theater. You know what I mean? They premiered at the New York Film Festival. Like, it's just not something that happens. You know, we shot this on location and so. There's no theater at the location in which you shoot ever. So that's why it's so exciting, because we knew what it was like on the precipice of shooting there. We were excited, but we didn't know. And then it ended up becoming what it was. And we just know, I think maybe it's intuition or because we went through this specific thing, but we just know that anybody who gets to come is going to feel something special. And it's hard to define it, and you can't put it into words, but it's a very unique experience that I don't know when something like this has happened in film, that you've been able to go back and premiere it in the location you shot it in this specific way. And it also being tied, like you said, to an independent film revolution, which I think the world is wanting so badly. Yeah. Everybody's just screaming about it. And we watched 5 Easy Pieces. Katie and I watched 5 Easy Pieces last week, and I posted about this on the Anytown Pictures story. I'm doing a little series of like films that influenced Anytown Pictures, but also Wayward Ken specifically. And speaking of BBS, not what Dave mentioned, but the film company. No, so they did Easy Rider. The next film they did was 5 Easy Pieces. Then they did The Last Picture Show. And 5 Easy Pieces also stars Jack Nicholson, as Easy Rider does. And when you watch that movie, it's different. And it hits you differently. And I just posted this, but I'll read it. But Roger Ebert, great film critic, he said, "We'd had a revelation. This was the direction American movies should take. Into idiosyncratic characters, into dialogue with an ear for the vulgar and the literate, into a plot free to surprise us about the characters, into an existential ending not required to be happy. 5 Easy Pieces was a fusion of the personal cinema of John Cassavetes and the new indie movement that was tentatively emerging." And the next film they make is The Last Picture Show, a film about a dying era centered within and around a movie theater dying. And we are like, what would be cool? Like, we never could have thought that our little experience could lead to this. We didn't foresee it. I never said, Last Picture Show influenced Wayward Ken. It didn't, frankly. Archer City influenced, it didn't. I didn't even want to go all the way out there. I was trying to go to Grayson County. I was trying to go to Collin County. I was trying to go to any other county. And they, right, faithful action, like reaching out. Richard Shelley reaches out, and he sort of carries the baton from way back then to us now. And we're sitting in this position like, this is what it's all about. Yeah. This is what it's all about. And you really can't say it's about that and then do something else. If this is how you feel and this is where your values lie, that you want to bring personal stories, truthful acting, and impactful films to people, maybe people all over the world or in small towns, big towns alike, and they're looking for something different. For the love of God, it's exactly where people were in 1967, 68, 69, when films like The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, Easy Rider, Bonnie and Clyde, hit the scene, and the public said, "Thank you. Thank you. That's what we've been missing. I'm tired of the same old, same old. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that." And you have everyone saying more or less the same thing now. And it's like, this is what we're trying to do is put our money where our mouth is. We're not trying to do it the same conventional way, because if Hollywood was doing this more, we would be doing it more so their way, because they're doing it right. But it just feels like history repeating itself, a cycle of some kind. And I'm not saying we're ushering in the new movement, like the battering ram of the new Hollywood era. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that something's going to happen. It's human nature. It's history. It's a cycle. It's going to happen. And I think the world is like looking for it. And so why look for it and wait for the cavalry to show up? They're just not doing that. It's silly to just sit there and twiddle your thumbs and wait for someone to come along and zap you with an opportunity, when you just have to do it. If you look at history, if you look at the eras that really changed cinema history and reverted us back to something true about the human experience, condition, or some sort of story that resonated on a great scale, or even just on a personal scale, it's always artists taking it back into their own hands. It's always some creative person saying, "You know what, I'm doing this anyway." And then people start to catch on, and then it becomes a little bit of a movement of some kind. Again, not saying that's what we're doing, but that's our desire, is to make films the way that we want them to be made, and to honor and support those people that feel forgotten or feel left out or feel like Hollywood's not representing them, not representing even just their humanity. And not every film has to be like dark and edgy and have these really interesting effects. Like, if you just get a camera and you get a story and you get characters that are human beings, and you really, with all your heart, you tell that story with a camera and with a team, it's going to resonate with someone. Someone is going to be moved by it. Someone is going to be glad they watched it. And that's why, again, it's not even just to get a bunch of people there. It's not even about that. It's literally, we know it's going to be fun. We know it's going to be special. And we don't want people to miss out on the experience of what this might be for them. And that's why we made it in the first place. Again, it's not about the reviews being positive. It's not about money. It's not about any of those other things that so often seduce and abandon the independent film artists. It's the things that make filmmaking and storytelling and creating anything worth doing it at all. And that's where the values lie. And this is my TED Talk. And thank you for coming.
I love it, dude. just about, like, you're making me think of why story is important at all. Like you're saying, you mentioned it, but that movement was so significant because exactly what you said. People didn't know that they needed to see themselves in film. They know they have their story, right? Like, we all have a story. I've been realizing that more and more. There's story in almost everything, in every part of life. There's a story, and whether you're telling yourself that story or someone's telling it about you or whatever, but there's a story behind your life. And the reason that the way that film as an art form has the potential to wake you up and remind you that you have a story and it's significant, and that it has this way of waking you up to life. I remember Ethan Hawke was talking about it in passing. He has a great way of speaking about story and the importance of art, period. But he was talking about how, like, you don't know you even need art until your girlfriend leaves you, or your one of your family members passes, and you don't know it, but like, you see something in story that reflects the way you're feeling, and it reminds you that you're not alone. And wow, like, there is a place for my grief. Like, it exists outside of me. It is real. There's depth to it. I can't see it. I can't grab a hold of it, but they're speaking about it, and it rings true. Or Mozart. You listen to Mozart and you're like, dude, this walk through a city block is no longer a walk through a city block. It's like, it's turned into this like majestic, like, my imagination is soaring kind of experience where I'm lifted. I'm uplifted. My spirit's uplifted. Life becomes richer because art is there, and story exists everywhere. So I think that film experience, it turned on the people who were young creatives or people who have been in the game to that idea that like, wait a second, we can just tell story about people because they need it. Mm-hmm. They are vying to hear and see and experience like in a theater with other people with the lights down. Whoa. I'm leaving the theater and I'm thinking about like Last Picture Show, like Cloris Leachman's relationship with Timothy Bottoms. Like it makes you think, you know, she's this like older woman who's kind of like having a hard time and she's met this young man. He was going to drop some off her, and now they have this romantic relationship in this small town, and they don't want it to come out. And it just even that it's something that you wouldn't. It's not Disney wouldn't jump at it. Let's say, you know, a studio wouldn't be like, "Whoa, that's what we've been waiting for." Like the bang bang shoot 'em up stuff, they don't care. But that makes the human being leave the theater and be like, "Whoa, there's a complex thought about life after that." Time slows down a bit. You start thinking more about your own life and like how it can be reflected to you. So this, what we've done, and it's just what we're attracted to because I think those films spoke to us. Even back then, we get to watch them now on like a Criterion DVD or whatever. And we have the same experience. By the end of it, we're like, dude, how did Jack Nicholson live like walk that line of 2 lives and 5, like, and it makes you think about your own life. Katie spoke on it last time she was on the pod a couple episodes ago. That kind of conversation continues. The human condition doesn't change much. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Like we still struggle with the same things like our grandparents struggled with in different forms.
Yeah. But
it's the same shit. And stories like this, for me, they speak to me. They speak to you. They speak to you too. So I just, it's amazing. I'm so grateful that God has put you in my life, Adam, in a way where like it wasn't, again, we couldn't plan this, you know, me and you, there's no way where we come from and like where our heads were at and where our bodies were at and like what we were trying to do. We weren't close to trying to tell stories about real people and make that a business and also try to like remind people that they can do this too. Like that wasn't even, we were just trying to get gigs. We were just trying to be famous and like be the best actors in the world, dude. That's all we cared about. So I'm so grateful, bro, that God has given us a relationship that, and we just had a conversation a couple days ago about like, you know, things to do with what we're doing. Even that doesn't get before how important our relationship is with telling these stories. Like the mission is the same. And I don't know. I hope I'm not like freaking anyone out or convoluting our relationship or whatever, but it's just very rare. I've realized that you can find a friend or God brings someone into your life that you adapt and you evolve with each other and you have the same direction you want to go. And, it's like you said before, bro, like if this was the last thing you did, would you be okay with that? Like if this was the only one we get to tell, if we take our last breath, I know it's dramatic, but it could happen. Are you cool with going all in like 5 years? It's a long time, like putting blood, sweat, and tears into something with me. And I'm glad I said yes. I'm glad I said this is what I would tell a story about as brothers. And yeah, like the growth that came from this, the bond we've it's only gotten stronger. My faith has grown. The relationships I developed with people I never would have met through story, finding their story, inspired by their story. Their story affects my story and continued. Like, I don't know how to describe it, bro, but it's just human connection. And I think it is totally, totally divine. I can't unsee it. I've never felt it before. It is wild, this Wayward Kin experience we've had. It is wild. And all I can hope, bro, is that like people are woken up to their story through our story. That's it. That's all I can hope for. I really hope that's what happens. If it's 1, if it's 10, if it's 10 million, We have no say in that. We can only do what we can do, right? That's always what we say. Let's pray on it. Let's give it to him. He's got it. We can only go so far. We're two people, right? We're two guys that have never done this before. So who knows where it goes or how far or who comes in contact with it. But yeah, man, I'm so grateful that story even exists, that we had a chance to tell this one. And yeah, above all, like that we have what we have, dude. Very, very grateful for you, man. Yeah, because it's easy to get tied up in like the work. Even it is so personal and it is so, because we want to put our best foot forward, and we have to make tough decisions, and we have to like build a marketing whatever to try to get it to these people who we may not want, like meet. And that's part of working. Like you have to work. We're called to work. But I think the coolest thing is, and it's with you too, that, and maybe this is bad business, quote unquote, but it's another hill I'm willing to die on. Like the relationship with you and the relationship with you come before business for me. And, that's just how I think that's the only way I could go. But I'm glad we I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass, but that's the shit I'm most grateful for, honestly, because I can't control the outcome of the work. Yeah, I can only go so far.
I'll add on that. I think like the things that I learned from you two specifically, out of like everyone we've met even on this podcast journey, it made me like, you both woke me up to like story, how important it is, you know? And like in the beginning, I'm like, I like things look pretty and things look nice. And it's like that visual speaks to me in a certain way that never ever, like, I always thought that was like, for me, that's like what moved me the most. But man, watching some things that you guys recommend, or even just seeing what you guys do, like, I don't know, or even like Adam breaking down like these clips and stuff for Anytown, it's just like, it moves you in a different way. And it really reminds you that like story is kind of just the king of everything. And that it's like what you're saying is like, it's unique. Like every story is unique, but it's also similar. So like, what does that even mean? You know, it's like, what is the word for that? Like, it's so like, it's like someone's specific journey, right? It's uniquely them, right? Because it's them, they're going through it. But it makes it special because we can all relate in some way because it's similar in some sort of way. So it's like, I don't know, it's almost like a paradox, like two different things, but it's so close, you know, which is like, I think that's what makes it so special and beautiful, you know?
I agree.
Even I don't know why I just thought of, I was gonna ask you guys a question this show. When was the last time you were in a movie theater that was full? And I want to say mine first because I just saw a movie, it's like my favorite movie ever. It was Princess Mononoke in IMAX. Yeah. They did a 4K like restoration, like remaster thing. It was awesome. Dude, it was packed. Full packed.
How beautiful is that?
Amazing. Because I watched it in like 2008 on like my PC on like a stolen site. You know what I mean? And it's like 480p. You know what I mean? That's how I was getting it back then.
Yeah.
But I feel like that circles back so well to what I kind of just said about specifically with me, like the visuals. Like I love the visuals of that movie, but the more I watch that, the more I like pay attention. The story is not like super like, I don't know. There's not like that much. Like I noticed, the thing I noticed most about this, I love seeing movies over and over, that like there's one line in like the first 5 minutes where it's the main character basically has like leave the village because he got tainted by like a demon, and the village elder was like, you're no longer part of our tribe. Like, but you know, like she kind of does like this tarot thing, like reading, where the gods tell her, like of the village, tell her that like, you need to go to the lands like west and, you know, go find something, but you must do it with eyes unclouded. And that is just, it tells you the whole story and exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. And I never caught that before because I never really listened or paid attention to the story that much. Yeah. But that one line is like the entire show, the entire movie. Yeah. And that's what makes it so good. And the point.
If you zoom out, you find it everywhere. Like story is everywhere, and it influences where your life goes.
Yeah.
Like the stories you tell yourself, or the stories people tell you, or the stories that impact you the most, that hold meaning to you. I remember there was this dude at the end of my block. You're gonna laugh. He's a drug dealer where I grew up. He lived in this like this like 2-family like ranch situation, and his half he would keep his window open by his bedroom, and you see people like walk across his lawn like, and they'd do an exchange out of his bedroom window, and they'd bounce, right? And he had a twin, so there's 2 of them, right? These long haired dudes, and they were like real gangly. But on my block, like they were the only guys that were like there. So I would like throw the football around with them, right? Like they'd be outside throwing the football, and I'd run out there, like, oh man, it's finally. I lived on a dead end, so there's nothing.
Yeah.
And my mom wouldn't let me leave the block, so I just again throw the football with these guys. But I remember one day after we were throwing the football, like see, like it's a story. Like I'm telling myself, this was my story of these guys. And the one specifically looked at me while we were walking. I was walking home after throwing the ball with him. His sun's setting, and he goes, Dave, always be. This is funny. Always be a leader, never a follower. And I remember I took that. It like hit me. I never heard it before, but it struck me in such a way that when I went to school, I remembered him telling me that, and I would think to myself in situations like, oh, everyone's going to drink in like homie's basement, and we're 14. Always be a leader, not a follower. I didn't want to drink, so I didn't drink. But it was because he turned around, told me that the sun was setting. It was this magic moment, and I took it.
Yeah.
So that became my story.
Yeah.
As Dave was the sober when he's not doing that stuff. And right or wrong, it doesn't matter. But the point is that story was significant to me. And again, like if you had a camera on that, whoa.
Yeah.
What the heck? You know, that would be something I'd want to see.
Yeah.
You know?
That explains like part of a character. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the way we're designed. I really believe the way we're created is to connect through someone telling you a story or you sharing your story. I mean, it's called testifying when you talk about your faith, and when you look at what Jesus did when he walked the earth as man, he just told parables.
Yep.
And a lot of times we'd be like, I don't get it. And he'd be like, okay, let me tell you a story. And he would. And he'd be like, oh, you know, interesting.
Look at that.
You kind of walk away with
That
something.
happened last week.
Yep.
And he's like, you get it now? And, oh, yeah, maybe. And then you go do the wrong thing again. And he's like, okay, let's try this again.
One more time.
It's a new parable. And so I think it's just baked into who we are. And it's why we had this, like, I mean, there's such a long story about this. I won't tell it, but just the telephone poles is like the symbol.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, how we talked about that being a symbol of connection, and that they're everywhere, but they're like, you don't really see them. You know, you just kind of get used to them. They're everywhere, but that's really what a story is it's like everybody's connected through it, and like you said, Mikey, it's that idea that what's most personal is most universal, and it's stepping out in faith that you say, all right, so I went through this thing. And then you express yourself. You know, people might go, what are you talking about? I don't relate at all. But it's really you being like, okay, this is me. And then will someone else relate to this, connect to this, resonate with this? And again, if you're being false, if you're not being true, if your story is not, I guess, coming from a source of honesty, then yeah, maybe people might be a little bit kind of like, I don't know. But if it does have that source of authenticity, somebody's going to relate to it because we are all human beings. And that's obviously the same thing that we're doing now. We have one story that we've told with a camera and human behavior and all these things, and we're going to let people watch this and hear the story for an hour and a half and then go, oh, do I get something? Do I not get something? And we're just banking on that idea that we're all connected through our experiences together. And when we sit down and we break bread or we share our stories with each other, we're closer, we're deeper. And when I've heard people's testimonies or I've heard people just bare their heart, I'm connected to them more. And it's why there's books and songs and all types of art around us, like you said, Dave. It's because on some very deep level, we are looking for that type of connection. And when we do express something of our inner life outwardly, people start to, like you said, recognize that they're alive too. And you just feel less alone in the world. And there's just more hope and inspiration and love to go around.
That's right, dude.
Yeah.
Now, circling back to me, 1 out of 10, what do you think? Because you were directing, your first directing job, and you did good. You did good, right?
What would you rate Adam?
Adam? Well, he rated me first. So how'd I do, man? Working with actors. You worked with a few actors before. So how was it?
I feel like you'd be a pain in the ass.
Let the man speak. Let the man speak.
So 10 being what?
Like just like I don't know.
Skill level or
probably like
having fun or
I'm thinking of the greats. I'm thinking like Batista and Ride Along or something like the.
Oh.
I'm thinking of. Thinking of who else was really good?
You're really thinking a lot.
Probably like Tom Hardy in Inception kind of thing. Like, where am I at, dude, on the list, man?
On a scale of Tom Hardy in Inception to Batista and Ride Along, you're like...
Where do I fit in that scale?
You're like the wasp in A Bug's Life?
Ooh,
shit.
No, he's the caterpillar. Come on.
Should I be... Is that a good thing? Because I don't remember the movie.
It's the thing about storytelling. You got to leave it open to interpretation.
Exactly.
So I got to find it for myself.
When you go home, look up the caterpillar from Bug's Life.
Because I have a trouble doing that.
And I don't think you're gonna like it.
You're gonna be mad at Mike. It's a guarantee.
Do we have to pull up a picture of the caterpillar? Oh, let me see.
You should look up a clip of him.
That clip. You son of a gun, dude.
Look up when he has wings.
Not so much the visual, but the voices are.
Okay. I'll look that up later then.
Yeah. Not when I'm around you.
But how impressed were you on a real note with me? No, impressed with Avery and the process of like finding her and then like by
how did you find her?
Dude, it's again, we had a young woman and she was so talented. We had her for months, like locked in.
Yeah,
she was going to be my daughter.
Yeah,
like that was it. We were having Zooms with her constantly. Yeah. Her parents, her agent. She had an agent.
Holy crap!
She was in like a bunch of I don't even want to say what movies, but like a series of nice. A major series of movies. She had like a little budding career going, and we were like going to work with her, and she was awesome, so talented. And then we got to like a few weeks before.
I think it was technically like a month and a half or two.
Month and a half before. And her agent told her, you can't do this. And pulled her out of the movie.
Oh.
So we were like, oh no, do we just write the daughter out of this thing? Like, what do we do? What do we do? And we, I believe Adam found through a connection I think Katie made at her job, her place of work, a connection with someone who came in and she was telling her the story of like what just happened to this young girl backing out of the film, her agent pulling her. And through that person, they were like, oh, there's a whole community of young actors that I could put you in contact with. And so they did that.
Whoa.
And we met. We had a bunch of like headshots and resumes to look at and clips and things. And we found Avery there.
Wow. And
it was like, again, serendipitous. Some would say kismet. Some would say destiny. Some would say God. But whoa, what a stud, dude. She like what's cool is, dude, too, is like we have our set of beliefs in storytelling that make for a great story. And then when you see it reflected in someone we don't know, we didn't know her. We met her, weeks before in person, and then we just worked together. And with those beliefs, and you're directing with those beliefs, and our acting, and building a relationship by the end, like the Archer City moment, Isn't that crazy? Like the beliefs that we held were shown through a person we didn't know, and she just shone. Like, it was, Mike, crazy. Crazy to experience.
Sounds like it.
And I had a front row seat to it. Crazy. I'm telling you.
She did like 35 musicals or something.
Whoa.
Total stud.
Dang.
And she was like, and we went and we interviewed with her family. We interviewed a lot of people for that time limit. I mean, I think I talked to 6 families and.
Dude, we got to have her on the podcast. What am I doing?
Yeah.
That's true. Sure. She's pretty busy at the moment, just so you know. I don't know if you know. Because she's going around and she's trying to see what college she's going to get into.
That's right. I'm trying to coax her to come to Montclair.
Really?
Trying to get her east.
Little Montclair film?
Yeah.
Man.
They have a good theater program.
There's a couple Northeast schools that are still in the running as far as I know. But anyway,
dude.
We went to her musical, Something Rotten. That's what it was called. We went, and it was truly impressive. It was I'm not very much a musical guy.
This is before we worked with her?
This was before we worked with her.
Yeah.
And this was, we may have cast her at that point, maybe not, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But we went and watched it, and I was like, wow, she's really good, but this is musical theater. This is so different. And so she did such a great job. She's already like such a professional, even though she was 15. And her parents were so great and so nice. And we talked about it with her, and she was, very prepared, very professional, really related to like the story and had a lot to say about it, which was impressive in its own right. And then she was very aware. She was like, it's different. Yeah. I know it's different than musical theater. So like, help me. And I was like, well, if she's willing, then that's a good start. And so we had, I think the first rehearsal, she did an improvisation with Katie. And she did great. And me and Katie were like, whoa, she like did so good and was so in it. And I kept telling her, like, we just want so much of you. You don't have to put on anything. You don't have to perform. You don't have to come up with like an emphasis of reading a line a certain way. Like, you just need to be present and here. And so we did a few exercises with that, which really helped relax her. And then I think one of the main rehearsals that we did at family in Frisco, and Ashton joined in, and that was really, really good. It was like a really, really long, I guess you could say, particularization that punched a few different places within the script. We touched upon some places that we needed to kind of familiarize her with, mostly. Obviously, it helped y'all too, but I wasn't worried about y'all at all. I was like, just get them there. It's going to be good. Y'all had the parts for a while and had prepared for a long time. And she was just coming in last minute. And yeah, it was really great. I mean, we were able to establish a real language, and she really understood what we were trying to do. And it was cool, and there's this special video that people who come to the screenings will be able to see, but it's a special video that also features some behind the scenes looks and insights from the cast about what it was like. And she shares some really cool stuff in there. But one of the things that she talked about was, she was like, it was really interesting because the lines between Avery and Sophie were so blurred. It was like, am I acting? Am I not acting? And that was the sweet spot that we wanted her to be in. And of course, I think we all want to be in when we act, is that we don't want it to feel like acting, we want it to feel like life, at least to some extent, which obviously convinces us of what we're doing. And then if we're convinced, the audience is convinced, because we're not pretending anything. We're just doing it. And so, yeah, she fit like a glove. There was no like issues. There was no, man, this is really, I don't know, scratching my head, pulling my hair out. It wasn't like that at all. And again, like Dave said, it's just so divine, because we thought we knew. We were like, we cast her first after you and Katie, of course, because that part was so important. And when we lost that actor, he was crazy talented. And she was younger. She was younger than Avery. And we did rehearsals, and it was over Zoom.
Yeah.
And it was like really good. So when she couldn't do it, I mean, that was a real blow to the film. And Avery came in, and it's like I can't imagine it being anybody else.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so glad it all worked out that way. And I never, ever, ever would have thought I would feel that way. I was really like, this is the nail in the coffin.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is the final obstacle that like you just can't overcome. But we just kept going, and then it just worked out.
Yeah, she did such a good job of the roll calls for if you're part of it. Your family's ever been through a divorce, or you're from a family of divorce. You know, you kind of get stuck in the middle of these two worlds, these two people that mean a lot to you. And so for her, you know, she comes from the best family. She's Brent and Renee are the best. Like they're beautiful people. And they're God-fearing people. They're just awesome. And for her to be in her life coming from a great place, but to look at our situation and to with empathy like begin to understand it and want to know more. And like she like that's the thing that freaks me out, I think, dude, is by the time we're in the cell, she not only understood it, her heart was with us in it 100%. And she recognized people who have gone through this. It was hers. She made it hers. Like there was no lie at all. Like I'm right in front. Like I could tell. I promise you. And I think that she's gonna really impress a lot of people because you meet her and you're like, what? Like her room's perfect. She's got all these great things. She comes from great stock. Like she's awesome. She's just like an awesome person. She would bring Celsius's to set. She's making friends with like she was the best as like a human being at such a young age, at like 14. And to deal with such a heavy, like, I don't know what other word there is for it, but like very difficult, heart-wrenching, crushing topic in storytelling and people go through all the time. She not only like took the ball and ran with it, but like she fully consumed the plight that we've gone through that we thought was so personal to us when we wrote it. And she like walked that line as a 14-year. It's just crazy. Like I couldn't have done that. There's no way. I would be so in my head. I'd be so nervous about everything. There's no shot. And she did it with such grace and like a full heart. And I think that's why it reflects like, to me, it's like a little family was built and it feels that way to me. She's family to me. Like, I think that's the thing we talk about with the reason I think I'll speak for me. The reason I like to act the way I do and the way we were taught is because you inevitably leave the room you're sharing with the person you're sharing with, your partner, having shared and exchanged real meaning with each other. Like a depth is exchanged. And now I know you more than I was ever going to know you outside of this place. And you know me more than I could ever explain. And we shared that with each other if it was real. And, dude, we did that. Like, love that girl. That girl to me is like a little sister forever and like a pseudo daughter. Like it's weird, but that's how I can't explain it, but that's the depth to what she means to me. Crazy, dude. Crazy.
Yeah. It was also like a moment of, I wouldn't have thought necessarily, I mean, I guess maybe I would have, but the casting decision was a tough one because we needed to find someone that could not only execute a truthful performance at that age, which is hard, but we also needed someone to represent in their temperament, in their person, the light that is being dimmed by the obstacles they're in this case. And so when we met her, that's really what clicked so instinctively right from the jump was, oh, this would be so heartbreaking to put her through this. And we were trying to cast in some way, like a quasi version of little you and little me when we had gone through our thing when we were kids, because our parents split up and all that stuff. And when I saw her, it was like, she's got that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't teach that. You can't make someone have a light like that, you know, that type of positive spirit, trying to think of others all the time, a thirst for life, so much joy. And if you put someone in that position, the audience, I think that they just immediately, it's so heart-wrenching, because you're like, this poor girl. And that she could stand in the current of those two opposing forces and hold the film. It's something I never would have told her while we were shooting it. Like,
No way.
you're the heart of the movie. You know that, right? Horrible to say that, but it's, again, like you have to have the right instinct and timing and communication and all that stuff to direct it and to kind of thread the needle that way. And when she had that, it was like, oh, it's really mine to screw up. You know, if I say too much or too little, like, it's going to be ugly, and she's going to have too much weight on her shoulders. But if I kind of direct her indirectly by focusing on making sure that the storm is really brewing between you and Katie, or Caleb and Lily, obviously, then she's gonna be stuck, and she's gonna have to try to love everyone through it, and she does that naturally. So I was like, oh, this is a wrap. And now, you know, watching the film, you and me are, even though we're still moved by it, like we were talking when we heard the current draft of the full mix, we were like very moved by it. But even in us seeing it so often and being desensitized to so much of it, that's the thing I keep saying, is I'm like, there's just no doubt. There's just no doubt. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You know, there may be some things, the way I shot it or the way that I didn't shoot it or whatever, that you might be like, well, that could have been better. I obviously feel that way. But when it comes to what the actors have done and their togetherness and amidst a real torrential splitting that we capture, for sure, I think there's just no way you're not on the ride. And because of what Avery was able to do, there's no way you're not feeling something for her and for the situation, which is what we wanted. I mean, we wanted the audience to feel with these characters. We didn't want to spoon feed them information. We wanted them to feel with them in like the rolling cause and effect of what a story is supposed to do when told properly. And I mean, that's straight down the pipeline of Kazan, you know, talking about, you need to understand what a story is, and then you need to really involve the audience with the characters. And if you fail to do that, you fail to tell a story. Like, you fail to make a movie that's worth watching. So that was obviously, like you said earlier, our standard. And when someone like that comes along, you just thank God, because you're like, I couldn't have drawn it up this way. I couldn't have done that. But it's mine to hopefully steward in a way that when it finally gets to being able to share it with others, that they walk away, you know, not forgetting it, and walking away with, like Mikey was saying, like, I feel connected to people, man. I feel alive again. And wow, there's something about life, dude. There's something really true about being here right now that's so special. And again, these screenings are special because you're also, you're involved with it. So if you go to these, it's exciting because you're literally part of the same project. Like I said earlier about the uniqueness of screening it where you shot it, it's still happening, and we're all going to be there together. So you get to feel it, I think, in a really, really emphasized way, in an enlightened way, that it's just not, you know, if God willing, we get distribution and it gets to be in many different towns, hopefully the film is still resonating, of course, forever, but it's not going to be the same, you know? A screening in Phoenix isn't going to be the same as going to the Royal Theater and premiering it for the first time.
If this existed for me and I was out there, like, for someone else's thing, I would run to it. I'd be like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I get to talk to the people that are seeing it. I'm seeing a film that hasn't been seen in this like significant play. Like, it's just mind blowing to me that we're even doing this. It's crazy, bro. It's so unique of an experience, and I just don't see it anywhere. So I'd run to it if I was me watching this from if someone else was in the film and it wasn't mine, I'd be running to it. But I mean, I'm hoping other people feel the same, and we get to experience that moment with them, those moments with them, and you'll be there. And I'm not lying when I say if it was
If it was just us, like it was just Mikey and some of our friends who haven't seen it, like I'm over the moon about it. It isn't about a bunch of people. Again, it's not about a bunch of people coming. I don't care about that. I care about people getting to experience this special thing.
Yeah.
We just, when you write a film, you make a film, you kind of start by saying, what's the one I would want to see? Like what's most personal will hopefully be most universal someday. And it's like, I want to see one like this, just like this. And it's the same way in the way that we were releasing it is I wish someone would release it like that. Yeah. That'd be really cool. Right. And then we have this opportunity for it to not be an idea, that'd be cool. And then you just go off and do your thing. It's like, we can do it. We can really do it. And it's so cool. Like, yes, of course we would love it. Like we're going to be there. We're going to be soaking it up and it's going to be so fun. But I also think, again, the story of the release is also something that is personal and hopefully universal. That these stories we tell about Last Picture Show and Archer City and all these things, they resonate with us not because I'm from Texas or some random thing. It's like it's because it's very human. That there really is value in every life. There really is a story in any town. It's not just a saying. It's just we built it around what was already true. It wasn't like, what a cool idea. Yeah. No, this is already true. Why would we not honor that truth with our actions? Mm-hmm. And that's all this is just an attempt to do that. It's not trying to make, again, like a bunch of people see it. It's like I just want to do it the way that I wish others maybe would do it. Or someone who directed me, I'm going to try to direct the way I wish I was being directed, or write the way that I wanted to act in a, those types of things. Just really trying to think of the person across from you or down the line who might be watching it. Think of them and really try to serve them truly with all of the skills you've developed or gifts that you've been given or opportunities you have. That's all we're doing.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Man. I'm proud of you guys, man.
Questions, comments, concerns? Thanks, dude.
I don't know if I said that. Just like cool to see like dudes want to do some shit and make a movie and do it the way they want to do it. Not heel to like the norm and the standards and the what's trending and hot.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's real.
It's real. Good, bad, or otherwise, it's real.
I'm a supporter, dude.
Your cat was trying to climb the door for a second there.
Katie's funny because she's trying to put her in here because she's whining. That ain't gonna work. She wants the door open. She hates it closed.
She needs that door open. All right, before we get you out of here, bro, I'm gonna open up this card box that you've got me for Christmas.
What about last movie that was full audience?
Oh, full audience. For me, it was the PTA movie we went and watched together. Licorice Pizza.
Oh, really?
That was the last time I was in a full theater.
I think no.
What other one?
It's a Wonderful Life showing.
Oh, that was a full. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Hey, why is it all the old movies?
You tell me.
Not the new ones.
You tell me, dude.
Well, I will say, to add like a rebuttal to that, I know, it's ridiculous. The last one, technically the last one I went to that was packed, and it was only packed, in my opinion, because it was IMAX. Like you said about Princess Mononoke, it was Oppenheimer and IMAX in Dallas.
Oh man, I want to ask you about Oppenheimer.
Please.
Do you like
it?
Yeah,
but you're gonna keep it real, or are you gonna say
what do you think of Oppenheimer?
I don't like it as much as I think a lot of people like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no. I wish they would have never done the second half of the film.
Yeah.
The second half?
It also gave me
the bomb part? You mean the bomb part?
No. I wish the movie ended there.
Oh, okay. And then we had the back end.
There's something about all the black and
white stuff. I wish it didn't
come.
It was just like this weird feeling of like glorifying, like I don't know, like making it sexy. Like pissed me off. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just weird.
I respect that.
I get that for sure. It wasn't my thing. My favorite movie of that year was Anatomy of a Fall. Did you see that?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, you made me watch that.
Yeah,
really good.
I really like that one. But I heard a dialogue editor say that she thinks Christopher Nolan's hearing, a certain part of his frequency is going out because she's obviously like very much a sound expert, and that's her job. Because I have said over and over, the music's too loud. I can't hear the dialogue. I'm like, maybe my ears are messed up. And I heard her say it, and I was like, and she thinks he's such a powerful director, and everybody wants to do what he wants because he's so great and talented. That when he pumps that music up, he gets, because his frequencies are off, and people don't want to be like,
hey Chris,
it doesn't sound right. I can't hear. Like, I'm like, why? And it's also nonstop music. So I've always been like, it's just not. He's just not the one that I prefer in terms of like if I was picking directors. But I did think Cillian Murphy did a great job. Yeah, for sure. I think he did a great job. I like him as an actor, but okay. But then to answer the question in a way that you're kind of hinting at, the other two that was packed that I went to recently was Jaws.
Jaws,
hell yeah!
And that was an amazing experience, movie-going experience, because it felt like we were back in 1975 in a way, and people were genuinely scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we were screaming and stuff. I was like, oh, and that you could hear a pin drop. It was cool. You know, when Robert Shaw gives that monologue or that speech about, the sharks. And like that. Dude, that's crazy. That's so good. I took a moment, because I've seen it so many times. I took a little moment just to kind of, do one of these little prairie dog where I'm like looking around. Dude, everybody was so locked in. They were like, and I'm like, we all know we know the movie, we know, and we're just, and I'm like, dude, this is the power of movies.
Straight up.
It's so unlike anything else. The other one, though, that I went, another 1950s movie, To Catch a Thief, was packed.
Wow.
This is a really funny story. So I went with a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, and we went and we saw it, and it was so great because we were definitely the youngest guys by like 20 years. But it was a packed theater, which was so cool.
Yeah.
Hitchcock movie, right? So we're there, and the movie starts, and there's a guy on the other side, little bit younger guy, I would say maybe in his like late 30s. And dude, and I mean, right when the movie is about, this little overture starts, and there's just a little moment of like a screen. And instantaneously, when the screen lit up, there was this booming old cowboy voice that said, "Put that away, son." And it went away immediately.
Yeah, put that back in your pocket, fool.
And I was like, dude, how do you say it so fast?
Yeah,
he like read the behavior of like the.
That don't happen at Snow White.
No, and we never had, and no one ever opened the phone after that.
No, that's it, dude.
It was such an entertaining story. Like, I had never seen that one.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was really fun.
Bro.
And so, yeah. 2 out of 3 is old films.
I don't know. I think I told you the story, but if I didn't, or if I did, forgive me. But on the plane back this year from New Year's from Texas, on the way back, I met this young kid from Texas. He was going to study overseas. He was going to South Africa. Or he was volunteering in South Africa. Yeah, kid was like a stud. Such and so sweet. Like, usually when someone sits next to you and your wife, you're like, don't talk to me. Like, let's just, you got the window, like we got the aisle, like let's just chill. Like, and also like keep your arm off my wife's arm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my mind was at. But he was so sweet. His name was Hudson. I remember his name now. And shout out Hudson. And he so pleasant. Whatever. Flight happens. We're in the middle of the flight, and I'm kind of like watching a movie. My wife passes out, and then I realize like Hudson's watching Good Will Hunting. Of all the films on the plane, he starts watching Good Will Hunting, and I'm like, wow, man, this kid is like a stud. And like immediately, I'm like, wow, this is resonating with Hudson because he has his hood up, and it's the exact moment where Robin Williams is telling Matt Damon like it's not your fault. And he's like this with the hood. He's like, all you see is this, the hood, and just like he's crying. You know what I mean? He's crying. He's having a moment. And I'm like, bro, this is the coolest on this little dumb screen on the back of someone's head. You're watching Good Will Hunting, this script that like these people poured into, and they had this real incredible scene and moment. And it was like 1993. It still is impacting Hudson, this 20-year-old kid going to South Africa. Why is story important? That's why story is important. Hudson had to cry on the plane, man. He's
Dude,
more alive. He's more
I
real.
love that movie, Cry on the Plane. Dude.
Oh,
That's
it's
my
the
shit.
best, bro. I got a poster coming. It's coming.
That's
Question before you go, bro. What is something someone has said that will stay with you forever?
oh man. Oh my gosh.
You got me these cards, so it's your fault.
I had a student. It was the last session with a one-on-one student. Shout out LeCha Zhang, my
Shout
guy.
out.
He's great. He asked me. He's like, you quote all these artists every single session. You know, I always do a quote of the week and then movie of the week, play of the week, and book of the month. And so he was like, it's our last session. What's your quote? And I literally had like a mini panic attack. And I was like, I don't know. And I sat there for like 2 minutes. And that's a long time to not say anything. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I don't have anything for you. He was like, that's okay. Keep thinking. And we just sat there. And I was just like, dude, I can't come up with this. Like, and it felt it was like an existential thing. I was like, am I anything? I'm just a regurgitation of like the things. It's like, and I would like, if I'm going to quote something, it's like scripture, or it's like, you know, or it's a great quote from an artist that I love, or, you know, someone that's inspired me. Oh, whoa. I just had like a thought that I will share with you later.
Got you.
Patreon.com.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, man. It's really... that's the other thing, too. Like, there's so many that I'm remembering. It's weird. It's like, gosh, what is the one that I really want to... It's these things that either show up in like a Bible study or just like in a quiet moment, and it like will hit me, and I'm like, whoa, that's the voice of God. That is not, as Jim and I always say, we say, did this power originate in you? It's always, certainly it did not.
Yes.
If it's like a really like good divine thing, it's like I didn't come up with that. Like, and it's hard because there's a surprise for you, Dave, that I don't want to ruin this thing.
Got you.
I don't want to say that, but sorry, this is like, you're gonna have to cut all this
it's
out.
okay. It's okay.
We're keeping going.
You know, right now, like, it's just like flashes of people's impact on my life, right?
Yep.
And I'm just getting like one person after another, and I don't want, you don't want to just say one. Like, there's so many, but I guess I'm going to have to say this was divine. It was the voice of God. And it was, you are redeemed. And I think a lot of people go through life. This is certainly my story. And, things happen to you. Things happen to you. There's also things that you participate within that you are 100%, at least mostly to blame. And you just make calamity where there could be serenity, where there could be peace, where there could be goodness. You, through your own flesh, through your own selfishness, desires, whatever. And there's been times in my life when I just felt like I'm just not worthy of being saved. I'm not worthy of being anything other than because I'm just a fool, and I'm just wrong, and I'm just a sinner. But then, right, this good news of the gospel is an experience that you can only have like a relationship with a person, because Jesus was a person. And there was a significant event in my life that made me feel, not that it was true, but I think the devil worked this one out to make me believe that it was true, because that's the language of Satan is the language of lies. There was just this voice that when I was making a petition to God in the silence of my own thoughts, someone had an experience near me that, frankly, I wanted for myself. And it was this feeling of being complete, this feeling of being whole. And I had really wanted the same experience. This person had experienced a real encounter with a heavenly Father. And I basically had said to God in a prayer room, like, good for him. But I don't have that right now. You know, I don't relate to that in the same way that I think this person's really relating to God. And like a person sitting next to me was just this word of redemption. You are redeemed. And it was like a feeling and it was a word, but then it was also subsequently when you go through and you see God as the great redeemer, right? He's redeeming mankind from the fall of their sinful ways, despite all we try to do and achieve, and we want to save ourselves through works and stuff. We can't. And that in and of itself is saying, yeah, God's not worthy. Like his sacrifice is not worthy, because for me, I got to earn it. I got to accomplish things. I got to be successful. I got to be this. And that was always my story. I'm going to do a million things so that I can see myself as worthy or respectable, or at least have some sliver of self-respect, because at least I didn't waste my life. At least I didn't turn out just totally terrible. And there are these special items that happened at the same event, and they're random messages, right? And you receive them based on sort of like if you were bobbing for apples or something, you pulled one up and you're like, oh, it's a Honeycrisp, or it's just random. Like it's like a grab bag of random messages or whatever. And 48 hours after this moment of good for him, even though I felt that embrace and I felt like that word, I was just kind of like, what is going on? And so it just kept beckoning me forth, beckoning me forward, beckoning me, come back, come back, come back. So I kept doing that the whole time for these 2 days, coming back, coming back, coming back. And when I went and I reached in for this random message, it didn't say a sentence. It didn't have a scripture. It just had one word, and it said redeemed.
Whoa.
And I was like, and I just instantly hyperventilated, cried. It was so the connective tissue between those two moments of I wish I had, and then I have this. And it was again, not something that originated in me, not something that originated in someone that I had told that to, because I hadn't told a soul about, I don't feel worthy, I feel terrible, I feel like I have to earn my way back into some good grace. It was, you are redeemed now, you are loved now, and you're with me now. And it was just this really overwhelming, like a long hug of God's grace. Mm. And so it's a weird way of saying what's something you'll never forget. But it's I've had many moments like that with God in my life, but that one was just a kind of recent one, and it was overwhelming. And I think it's something that I think we all need to hear that. And everybody's going to experience whatever God's grace on their life is a little bit differently, because it is a personal relationship with God. But that's the one that I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. I think of it once a day. And that if there's calamity in your life, there is serenity through that faithful action and that faithful response of I'm just going to reach out and I'm just going to listen and be still and know that God is God. And he will zap you with some stuff that goes right to the center of who you are. Yeah. And it definitely changed me forever. And it was just one word, redeemed. And I guess that's what came to mind. Yeah. There's a lot of things people have said to me in my life that I won't forget, but yeah, I guess that one was coming through the most.
That's beautiful, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. That's something a lot of people struggle with, bro. A lot of people struggle with that feeling of undeservedness, or like it's for me it was like as if you spilled the milk at your house when you're a kid, and you're like, damn it, dude, I gotta hide this, or I gotta mop this up quick before mom gets home. Like, I gotta bury this, you know. I don't deserve whatever. I think I just always felt like I was kind of undeserving of like love because I'd make mistakes, or I would think bad thoughts, or I wasn't perfect. So how could a heavenly anything love me if I'm not deserving of it? Because God's perfect. Like, why would God love me if I just keep dropping the ball and like hiding my mistakes and burying things and lying and whatever? So to be redeemed, to know that the things in your life, like, sure, they're seen but they're understood by God, and he's redeemed all that. Like, through Christ, he's redeemed all that. So you're loved, and you're to know that is one thing. To feel and understand that and believe that is another. And I think that the first part is like knowing that, and then, you know, I'm still on the journey of like knowing that always in my heart and understanding and believing, because I think I fall back into my flesh sometimes. I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's just no way. Like, something in my body whispers like, he can't love you, bro. You're still hiding. You're still thinking things and feeling things. And how could any heavenly father like get it? But if you were a heavenly father, wouldn't you forgive your son of like, if he spilled the milk? Of course you would. So yeah, I mean, we all have our individual journeys with God's grace, and I do pray everyone feels that at some point in life and believes it in their heart and is changed by that grace. Yeah, bro. Any thing you'll remember that someone's told you for the rest of your life?
A lot of things come to mind, but similarly, yeah, like I don't want to pick.
Yeah, they're all flashing by.
But you know what? That's something that really hit me recently, that I think about a lot, where I'm like, man, I think maybe it's because my brother had a kid too, but it made me think about, like, you know, as you grow and you have children, and everyone does that, or when they choose to do that. And I always think back to when my parents would tell me, like, you'll always be my little baby. Right? And I'm like, no, I'm not, you know? But like, man, I can't imagine like that feeling. Like, I can totally imagine it.
Yeah.
Because I feel that, you know, I'm like, I can totally see how, like, I don't care if you're 40.
Yeah.
Like, you were this big.
You'll always be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a beautiful thing that you'll never forget. Yeah, dude. Wow. Whoa. I mean, this is like a specific one, and just the first thing that comes to mind. But my mom would say, "I love you like lightning" growing up, and I never got like it felt like something, but I didn't. I knew what it meant to me, but I never heard it anywhere else, and I thought it was really beautiful. My mom would say, "I love you like lightning," and to me, it was like this force, this thing that cuts through clouds and like can't be stopped. There's this force like. She loves me that much, like lightning. Whoa, electrifying love. Like, so I remember my mom saying that, and she still says that sometimes, but I'll never forget the way she described her love for me. Yeah, I love you like lightning. So that's mine.
Nice.
So hey, man, this is the end of the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, they all center around love. It's interesting.
Yeah, man.
True.
Hard to forget. Dude. All right, on the way out of here. What do you got to say? What do you have for us?
Oh man. Well, I think if you're listening to this and you have a story to tell, and maybe you do want to make a movie, or you're in production or something like that, you can do it. Yeah. You can do it. You know, definitely speak from the heart, write from the heart, and it's going to make it a lot easier to pitch the film. It's going to make it a lot easier to hire people, for them to gravitate towards the project. And if we can do it, you can absolutely do it. And the more you reach out to people and you really give them something, you don't just try to take something. you would be shocked at what you guys can make together. And I think you and I are. That's what we're saying. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. We say that all the time. I can't believe it because it's crazy. What we've done is crazy. And it's, for us, it's a big deal because we love movies and we love storytelling and we love this stuff. And for others, it's like movies are just a thing that you sometimes watch. But if you are sitting there and you're like, man, I really want to do that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Don't think you can't, because you absolutely can. It was just two guys talking to each other. And this is now a movie, an event. Hundreds of people have been involved and are going to be able to watch it. And just two people meeting together. So reach out. And if you just need a word of encouragement, or you need, how did you guys do that? Anything at all, let us know. We're happy to help.
Boom. And as HR of the You're Here podcast, do you have any, do you want us to go in a different direction? Should we do something different? HR.
I meant to say this earlier, but I am now officially submitting my 2 weeks.
This is what you do, see?
What? Why though? Is it because of what I texted him before?
It's the BBS. It's the text.
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
It's the table.
That was
it's
him.
like
that was you.
Hudson is not. You're. This.
Yeah, you know what you're doing, dude? You're defiling us.
I'm not. Again, I don't deserve redemption, and that's why. No, just kidding.
How dare you?
That's what I always tell him. I'm like, dude, what would God think?
He does hit me with that a lot. He hits me with that a lot.
Yeah. And he says that. I'm like, cool, dude.
It's not a bad question. I missed it.
I'm kidding, bro. Hey, I love you, man. That was a joke, dude. I would never. Come on. Oh, man, I ruined it. So You're Here podcast. Adam Lowder, thank you for coming on again. It's like the 10th time. Thank you, bud. Yeah, and please don't. We don't accept your resignation, so you're still on board. Go check out Wayward Kin. First of all, go follow Anytown Pictures. Please tag along in the process. We'd love to talk story with you, talk shop, see you at some of these exclusive premieres, and more to come. Yeah, love you, Adam. Thank you for this time you've given us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love you guys too.
Bang.
Thanks, Adam. Peace. My name's Mike. Signing out.
My name's Dave. I love y'all. Please be kind to yourself. Please be kind to one another. Bang.
Love you guys.